Hey everyone, Iowa ODP, Dan Rothert, top student athlete recruiting. We got 2 or 3 minutes till 8, so we'll wait a couple minutes and then we'll get started. Thanks for joining me tonight. All right, hi everyone, Dan Rothert, Iowa ODP and top student athlete recruiting. You've been on one of my webinars before. It's a webinar setting, so you're just going to see me or my screen or both of us. You're not going to see anybody else. If there are questions at the end, you can enter them in the chat or the Q&A, and I'll answer them at the end. But I'll go through the whole webinar, and then we'll take questions at the end because I may cover what you might want to ask through the course of this conversation, or this one-way conversation, if we will. But excited to talk to you about recruiting highlight videos and what you need to know about them. You know, top student athlete recruiting, I help soccer players connect with college coaches. I help ease that part of the process. I use my connections and experience. I was coach at Loras College for 20 some years in Dubuque. I still live in Dubuque. I'm coaching in Iowa ODP. And then I also help ease stress of the process, just really help game plan, and the game plan is always changing. I help save money on college through the course of knowing how this whole thing works and being able to ask for more, whether it's from scholarships or academics. And then highlight video is part of this. Highlight video is kind of the door opener, right? It's the bait that opens the door for potential recruitment. Coach might want to see more. Video doesn't very often get you the spot. Sometimes I've seen it happen. I've worked with kids where video only, the coach never saw the kid play, and they got an opportunity at that school. But more times than not, it's the door opener that says, hey, we want you to come to our camp, or we want to see you play in person. What's your schedule? And then they can come out and see you play, and then potentially, a relationship starts, and then you get recruited, and then maybe you commit and go to that school and have a great career and those types of things. So it's a door opener. It's a great way to show your strengths, and maybe hide your weaknesses a little bit, but you still got to show that you're a great player for your position and those types of things. So what do you need to know for a highlight video, right? There's a lot of things to it. It's one of the things I do is make highlight videos. I'm very proficient at it. I can put them together pretty quickly, and cover all the bases, make sure you're showing the right stuff. It's one of the things that I can help with for the people that want to work with me. But people do it themselves too, and that's totally fine. And so why is a good highlight video important for your soccer recruitment, right? You want to find the right fit of a combination of academic, social, financial, and athletic priorities, right? And like I said before, video can be that entry point. If you send a coach an email and there's no video to it, if they're not going to that showcase or tournament or something like that, or they don't know that you have some kind of competency as a player, they probably won't come watch you play. But if they see in the video that you have the competencies that they like and that level of play that they like, they potentially, say, yeah, I need to go see, Dan Rothert play. They look like a great player in this video, or they look like someone that could be a good fit for me. So it's a good entry point, and especially for coaches far away, right? In your area, the coaches are in your backyard in those colleges where they see you often. You may not need it, but for schools, an hour further away, coaches are going to want to see video just to know who you are and to be that introductory piece. And the goal of the video is to separate you from other inquiries, right? Coaches get a ton of emails. At the Division I level, they can get 1,000 emails before a big tournament, before an ECNL showcase or a ODP event or something like that. You need to have a video that separates you a little bit. You wow them. You show them your best stuff, and it's a bait that starts that conversation. I also think you need a full game. So a highlight video is great, but then a coach might say, "Loved your highlight video, Dan. Do you have a full game?" And why do they want to see a full game? Because they want to see the mistakes too, right? They want to see how you play off the ball. What are you doing when you're not in the play, and what's your body language like, and all these different things when you make a mistake, and how do you react, and what's these types of things. Coaches want to see that, so they may say, "Love your video. You have a full game." So have a good full game, and have them in a link. I put this in here on purpose because some kids would send an email, that's an attachment to a file that's, 1,000,000 megabytes, right? Or whatever, some massive file that turns to spam and coach will never get it. Anytime there's an attachment to something, there's a risk of it going to spam or not going to a coach. So if you can have a link, somehow put it on YouTube or have a link to VO or whatever it is for a game film, Vimeo, these types of places where you can store your video, you're going to be better off and less likely that it goes to spam and then a coach would get it and things like that. So, and sometimes other schools have firewalls, right? So like they have really good internet programs. And so if it's an attachment that gets blocked, stuff like that. So having a good link to your video is crucial because you don't want your video not to get to the coach, right? So I'm sharing the screen here just so you can see it all. So those are important pieces to the puzzle. Like I said, having a link, what's a separator for you, and making sure you have everything you need in your video. So make sure, if you don't know how to do that stuff, get somebody to help you that can to get it into the link and stuff like that. So some of the stuff we're going to talk about, you may be able to do it yourself. You might need help with it. Software out there can cost money. I have access to some software, so that's what some people, that's how I can crank some things out faster than some other people, right? So videos should show all areas of your game. On offense, on defense, transition to offense. Like we just won the ball back. What do I do? Or transition to defense. We just lost the ball, or I just lost the ball. What do I do? What's your soccer IQ and your decision making? What's your initiative? Are you taking over? Are you taking over a game and or taking over that little section of the game, whatever it might be? Obviously, your technical ability, and then your physical ability, your speed, your jumping, your athleticism, those types of pieces. It should show all of that, no matter what position you're in. You should show a little bit of everything. I don't think you need to put them in sections. We'll talk about that. I think that kind of I think you want to wow coaches. Put your best stuff at the beginning. It could be an offensive play, a defensive play, a header. It could be whatever. There's a lot of different things that could come into play. Collect video. All right. So you may not have a video yet. You may not be at that point in this process, but even if you don't know how to edit and put things together, it's important to collect video of games. When I started this 3 years ago, and it was pandemic too, very few kids had video. It was kind of right before the VO cameras and the trace cameras came out. So it was harder to get really good video. But there's still a lot of kids I work with don't have much in the realm of video. So I want you to know, collect video. The more video you can have, the more you have to work with, right? And to pick better things and better clips. Plus, like I said before, a good full game is important. Potentially, some coach might want that. If your team doesn't record games, maybe there's clubs out there that don't record games. I'm fully aware of this. I work with players from those situations all the time. But you go to a game and you're playing, or your son or daughter are playing, and you look over and there's a camera up. Maybe the other team has one. Maybe a parent has one. Go ask. Go up to find out whose camera that is and ask if you can get a link to the game afterwards and exchange email addresses or phone numbers, and see if you can get a copy. Because I don't know how many times, I've talked to kids and they're like, well, I had a great game that game. There's a lot of clips. There would have been a lot of clips, but I never got film on it, right? So try to find a way to get film. Ask people for it. Ask opposing, some in high school, some teams do a great job of it, some don't, but maybe your opponents are filming games. Go ask the opposing coach, or go ask, the opposing team manager who's putting the camera up. Or parents can do that too, because sometimes the camera's on the parents' side during the game. Find out who that belongs to and see if you can get that stuff. There's NFHS network. Some schools have a camera on the stadium, up on the press box, and they film everything that goes on in there. Like my son goes to Dubuque Senior. He plays soccer, right? His games are all filmed on the NFHS network. So I can go into NFHS. It's $10 a month, but I can see every home game that's played there if we're not filming it. So every game is filmed at his home field, and it's got one of the the cameras that follows the ball, interactive and things like that. There's VO, the camera that tracks the ball. There's Trace, where also tracks the ball, but you can put a chip in your sock and it can track your skills or your touches, track your touches. There's people that just film games on phone. That's fine too. Good video, you can have all those different things. You could have video from all those sources, or news sources, or local news and stuff like that. I can take every component or every platform and put video together, and hopefully that's something you'd be able to do as well if you're making your own video. But keys to a highlight video: to show your strengths, should be against good competition, or be able to edit it so it looks like it's a good competition. All right. If you show yourself scoring a goal and I can see the scoreboard in the background and it says 10-0, and I know your team's winning 10-0, makes me probably think a little bit less of how good that goal was, right? Because you just scored the 11th goal of the game against a bad team, right? But you can tell as a college coach, that's one thing that I get asked all the time. Hey, I saw this kid, that I saw their video. They look all right, but I'm not quite sure about the level of competition and how they're going to react to playing at our level. And so it's a big thing. So video against the bad teams, when you're on a good team, just be aware that you make sure, if it's easy to beat this kid because they're really slow and they're on a bad team, like maybe it's not the best video to show, even if there was a nice goal at the end of it. Start with a wow factor. Put your best highlights at the beginning. That's a huge thing. You only have, one time to make a first impression. So if you show some boring stuff at the beginning and you save your best to last, you might lose a coach's interest and they just turn off the video, right? 2 to 3 minutes in length. Any longer, coaches just stop watching. They just, again, so it's short and sweet, and to the point, right? Shows your strengths and things like that. Show it doing the key things, skills your position requires. Um, I had a center back recently who had no headers. Well, guess what? When you're a center back in college, you're gonna head the ball. Like keepers punt it in college. At least most do, I should say. You're gonna have to win the air and that type of thing. So I had to call him and say, hey, you got a good video. You made it yourself. It's great. We need to get headers. We need to add that piece somehow, some way. We got to find some. So they found some. That stuff is important. Find some way to identify yourself. Circle, arrow, whatever it is over the video. We're going to show you some videos here in a bit, but find a way to identify you amongst the players on the field. So a coach don't just say, hey, I went number 14 and watch my video, because you might not see it because the video is from the side, or you don't want to have the coach search for who you are. You want them to visually know, hey, I know who that player is on the video. Some other things, editing tips. Some people put an intro slide on the video that with name and GPA and school and all that stuff. That's great if it's easy to make. I wouldn't go overboard, because your email that you're sending to coaches is usually going to say that stuff. So I don't think it's a huge necessity, if you can jump to the point. I don't think music is a necessity either. I like it because it drowns out, screaming from the fans. And, if mom's taking video on their phone and she's jumping up and down, it can take away that stuff. And it can add to a little bit of excitement. The music I like, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. If you use music and you put it on YouTube or Vimeo, you need to be aware of trademarks. So maybe play a music there's a lot of websites out there that get you music that's not trademarked. It's more of an instrumental, and it's made for stuff like this. You can type in highlight video music, and you can probably find a website that will give you highlight video music that's not trademarked. Anybody has an artist that played the music, it might be trademarked, right? So we just need to be aware of that, because YouTube can take it down, and you don't want to get caught in that pickle either. Edit the clip length, just to show the essential parts of the play. Don't have too much at the beginning. Don't have 5 seconds of, a play you're not involved in, and then it comes to you, and then have an extra 10 seconds at the end of the play. And, just it adds too much to the video. We just want to see you, right? And you really don't want to show your teammates bad trap either. Like if you pass them the ball and the ball pops out of bounds because they can't trap your pass, just cut it off right when they receive it. Coaches will just think the pass is completed, and that's fine too. If you use Huddle, some high schools and clubs use Huddle. When you make a Huddle highlight video, which is great, Huddle's a great little tool that allows you to, high school can sign up for it, or a club, and it allows you to make highlight videos within there and store all your video, and a club can store all their video in there. The only biggest issue I have with Huddle is they have a commercial at the beginning of every highlight video, and it's like a 30-second commercial, and it's boring, and it makes me want to turn off the highlight video. So as a coach, that's boring. But what you can do is screen record your video after the commercial, then post it on YouTube, and then you've eliminated that commercial. And now that chance of a coach turning it off because they're bored by a commercial is eliminated. I've done that plenty of times for some kids I work with. So no matter your position, some other tips, show some defensive clips. You're a forward, show some winning the ball back, right? Some of that stuff. Show some of that effort on the defensive side of the ball, pressing, winning the ball back, some of that stuff. I already mentioned a million times, have a good full game video of your play to share, ready to share with coaches, because they may ask for that. If you play multiple positions, make a video for each position, or at least separate your video into sections at that point. But I think a video for each position is better, right? If you're a left back and a center mid, for your ODP team, you play left back, but for your club, you play center mid. Have both. It shows your versatility. It is a huge deal. I have a player I'm working with right now. She's Center mid and left back. I'm using her as an example, and she's going to get, this next week, Division 2 visit, Division 1 visit, right? And both for different positions. One's interested in her as center mid, one's interested in left back, but they're both interested partly because she's versatile. Because you go in as a freshman, you might be behind a senior at one position, you might have to play something else. She can do multiple things. Video should evolve, so maybe make a video after each season. If after the fall season, make a video. After the winter, potentially make a video. If you had a lot of games, after the spring, make a video. Because you evolve as a player as well. You grow, and coaches want to see that. And then maybe your older video becomes more obsolete too, and you can just maybe get rid of that, or you can take some of that. If there's still some really good stuff in there, you could potentially use it. Don't just show every touch you make. That's not great video, right? That's I've seen a lot of videos out there. Sometimes camps offer video service. They don't know you that well as a player, and you don't get that many touches at an ID camp. So they say, okay, well, we'll make a video for you at this camp for this amount of money. And they show every touch you make. And a lot of those touches aren't highlight touches. They're just, normal touches or things like that. When you're video recording, the far side of the field is tough to see sometimes, right? You can be a lot smaller on the far side of the field because, the camera's on the other side. And so if you play right back, maybe I would use majority of my clips would be when I was on the near side of the camera. I just talked to a player tonight. He plays left wing, and I watched his game video, and I really couldn't tell what he was doing on the far side. So I skipped to the second half where he was on the near side, on the camera side, and that's where I would make his highlight video if I was making it. Going backwards, I don't know that a highlight video is like anytime when you go backwards, unless you got out of a big jam, and then you were able to play a pass backwards to a teammate. Coaches want to see you go forward. They want to see you going towards goal. They want to see how you can penetrate defenses and stuff like that. They don't want to see you make an easy pass backwards to your goalkeeper. That's certainly something I would avoid, unless like I said, you got out of a major jam and you were able to pass it back to get out of that jam. But I would avoid that. So let's go by position. All right. And this might, hope not to bore you if you don't play those positions. We'll try to go relatively quickly. Goalkeeper. This is one position where some college coaches want to see a training video. So if you're a goalkeeper, I would make a training video as well, because you might not get that many touches in a game, or they want to see your form and some of these things. So if you're a goalkeeper making a training video, I'll show you a quick example of that here in a moment. That's another thing to have. So maybe potentially as a goalie, you have to have a highlight video, a training video, and a full game video. I help make some of the people I work with goalkeeper videos and stuff like that as well. Goalkeeper video is fairly easy. You can put a phone up and put it stationary and on a tripod or something like that, and just film the goal while you're going through it. Then you can edit the clips. But it should show reading the game, ability in the air on crosses and corner kicks, intercepting long balls, and balls that are through balls that are coming in. Obviously, shot stopping, but goalkeepers, our shots should be shot stoppers. But what can you do besides shot stopping that can help us eliminate shots before they happen? Well, this stuff, right? Eliminating, crosses and long balls and things like that. What's your 1v1 ability? What's your distribution under pressure? Long play, short play. What's your leadership? I can tell when a player is even on a highlight video. I can tell when a player is vocal and those types of things as a coach on the field. Your punting distance, your goal kick distance. Those things some coaches want keepers that can crush it. And if you can't do that, then you're not for them, right? Others don't care. So everybody's looking for something different, but you need to show, those things. So here's an example of a player I work with. Great player here, actually in Iowa, senior. But he's, I'll just show you a couple clips. Goalkeeper, Pleasant Valley, played some ODP for a while. Goalkeepers, You don't need to show a circle around the goalkeeper because you know who the goalkeeper is. They're wearing a different color. They have gloves on. All right. They won the state championship last year. He made a save with penalty. Exciting start, right? Big save. Distribution. And now crosses. Making some big saves. The goal kicks, the operation, the goal kick. Big goal kick. So gives you an idea, just short and sweet on that. I'll show you his training video. He and I made a training video. This shows him doing some different things. Very simple stuff, but eventually we get into shows a lot of different things like that. Let's jump into backs. I don't want to bore you too much. I know everyone's a goalkeeper, so I won't keep that going. But I'll send this full recording and stuff like that. You guys can watch that in full. So if you want to see more things of what you might want to show in those things, you can. Outside backs, number 2 and number 3, winning your duels, 1v1 ability, to regain the ball. 1v1 to create in the attack, reading the game, continuously reposition and based on what's happening around you. Quick decisions, long and short range passing, athleticism, speed, recovery, heading. Those are all things you can show or should show in your highlight video. Like I said before, this is a player, another Iowa ODP player that I work with. She's left back and center mid. Here's a left back, just a quick video, showing some things she did at left back, right? Going into the attack. Here she is, getting forward. Building out of the back. Just different ideas. Transition. All these videos are from different platforms too. That player was coming from VO and Jack, the goalkeeper, we got some stuff off the news and the state championship game was broadcast, and then he also has some VO and some phone video, then we have the training video as well. So there's a lot of different sources there. Center backs, then 4 and 5, defensively strong in 1v1 duels in the air, and on the ground. Right? If you're a center back, you need to have heading in your video, all right? Reading the game to intercept long and or through balls, right? Long and short passing, including diagonal balls, leadership, organization, that type of thing. So here's a video of, and this is the profile that players that work with me get. They have profile and it has all their academic information and their contacts and accolades. One of the areas is video, right? So you can click on the different videos based on, he's got some evolving video here. This player has trace on his club. So trace is, they put the chip in your leg, on your sock, and you're able to, it tracks you as a player. So this is a trait. You still have to go into trace and you can delete clips because it's going to give you every touch you made. And you can organize them in an order, but this is just a clip from trace, from his trace camera. So it goes in and actually highlights him right there, that highlight. And then we know, okay, yeah, he just won the header. I told him he needed some headers, right? So that's just a clip there. in terms of things. So that's how Trace comes off. It's pretty easy. I don't have to do it. It doesn't come in full screen mode. I've taken some clips from Trace and put them into a highlight video with other things, but that's just one way. Defensive mid, reading the game, regain possession in 1v1 situations, and playing being a destroyer of passing lanes. Anticipate, and play forward when you retain possession, long and short distance passing, linking. Are you a link player? Some defensive mids are more of a pivot, switching the fields, and then heading obviously can be important in that area. Then we have center mids and attacking center mids, the technical skills and ability to read situations quickly, create scoring opportunities by pass and dribble, dynamic movement on and off the ball, to play between the lines, defending, pressing situations, manage pace of the game, second balls. There's some center mids at some programs where you're just a true second ball winner. The keeper punts it, and you're going to have to gobble up second balls, after the center back on the other team wins it. They're going to win a 50-50 header, and can you hunt down second balls? That's one skill that can be something that is important at that position. This is another one. Multiple positions she plays. This is the type of music I mentioned. This picks up, but great pass there, breaking it down, playing center mid. This is music that's not trademarked. Defensive pressure, won it back again. Plays a great ball in behind. See the circles around the player, all that stuff. So, a lot of things. So that's just another one there. Wingers. And, the 7 and 11, can you take people on? What's your ability to unbalance the opponent? Beating the opponents down the line, turning the corner, crossing under pressure, scoring goals, speed and fitness to attack and defend, pressing and winning the ball back, runs that unbalance the opponent, right? Obviously, maybe the best player in the world is a winger right now, in my opinion. This is a video from Huddle. All right, so this player had some Huddle. I went in and took his video, and he gave me his account information. I was able to get his games out of Huddle. But again, I want you to notice, okay, he was on the near side of the field when I made these video. Most of the clips are from when he was in front of the camera instead of being on the far side of the field. That's part of it. But start with a bang and some nice things. So this is off of Huddle. They have a platform that's making video, but I screen recorded it too to take out the commercial. So again, he's on the near side here. You'll see right here down here. So we know who he is, and we have a better view of him. Kept some crowd noise in because it was more fun. Now, this is on the far side of the field, but it was clear enough that we could get it, and it was a good goal. Sometimes it's not zoomed in enough. I like that he puts his hands up there. Pretty funny. So you get a little idea of how that works. And then strikers, right? Scoring goals, header foot, finding a way to get the ball in the back of the net, ability to hold up the ball and link up, dynamic movement off the ball to get behind the defense, ability to flick it on, dribbling and timing of runs, and playing back to goal and combining with others, right? This is another player. He has some state championship videos, some VO video. He's from Wisconsin. Good back to goal, great goal, exciting start. Not always going to be like that. Not be in the state championship every day. Passing. lot of different things. Yeah, like I said, one of the things I do is make video. Obviously, I use my experience and connections to, as a college coach for, quarter century, 25 years, to really help prospects and their families gain more exposure, find the right fit, save money on college. It's certainly right now with a lot of the seniors I'm working with, we're asking for more. We're negotiating scholarship offers and things like that, and then facilitate the process from start to finish. Part of that's video. I make video. That's one of the things I do. If you need help with that or anything else, you want to meet with me, I certainly would be welcome to meet with you. I'll set up a follow-up to this. If there are other questions, feel free to reach out, or you can stay on here for a moment and I'll answer those. But if you have a more personal question or you want to meet with me personally, I'll tell you how to do that. But I will be in Memphis for those going to ODP. I'll bring my camera. But hopefully most of the games are filmed and things like that. And collecting film is another big piece of it. So if there are questions or anything you want to ask, feel free to put it in the Q&A or the chat right now. Hopefully that was helpful. Like I said, I'll send it out in a version that you can have and keep and refer to and things like that. And we'll go from there. Thank you all. Have a great night. I'll stay on for a minute or two and see if there's any questions pop up. All right, looks like answered a couple questions. If there are any more personal or specific questions, I guess I should say, feel free to give me a shout. Otherwise, I'll follow up probably tomorrow with recording and some other information. And feel free to share it with other friends, other teammates, things like that. I'm open to that. Hopefully, it's helpful information. There's a lot of ways to do film. One of the questions was, um, do I ever rent my VO, or can you rent VO? Yes, you can. I know some people that do that. I know a friend of mine, actually a client that I work with, his dad that's what he does, right? One of his, he rents VO cameras, right? So like if I needed several for a tournament, I could get some from him or things like that. So if you're not getting good game film or you need help with that, that's a resource, right? I can do it yourself type video stuff as well, where I can give access to my platform for a cost, right? So there's another fee that could be a possibility. So we can talk about that if you have questions about that, but I'll send some information out about that as well. All right, good night. We'll talk soon. See some people at